For Putin's invasion of Ukraine, corporate America is now launching two of its own birds into his backyard, one finger from each hand, not airplanes. In today's video, we will show you some of the first actions taken by a slew of multinational corporations which began to pour in over the weekend. But first, please accept my warmest greetings if this is your first visit to our Smart Stocks Academy channel. Now, to be the first to know when a new video like this released, hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell right next to it. Now, if you're ready, let's get to the video. Due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, FedEx Corporation and United Parcel Service Incorporated have halted shipments into the nation. The shipping behemoths cut off shipments to and from Ukraine earlier this month and were drafting contingency plans for the Russian business. Both companies have now temporarily halted supplies to Russia. UPS issued a service alert on its website saying, "Our focus is on the safety of our personnel, ensuring continued service and minimizing interruption to our customers." UPS is keeping a close eye on the situation and will resume service as soon as it is feasible and safe to do so. On its website, FedEx issued a similar service advisory. "We're keeping a close eye on things and have contingency measures in place." The UK-listed oil company stated on Sunday that it was selling its voting position on Rosneft with immediate effect, citing Russia's invasion of Ukraine as a fundamental shift in relations with Moscow. Rosneft controls nearly half of BP's oil and gas reserves and a third of its production, so selling a 19.75% stake could cost the company up to $25 billion, according to the company. However, it did not say how it intends to leave Russia. It might write off the stock, sell it back to Rosneft, or sell it to someone else. The revisions will result in two material non-cash charges of up to $15 billion in the company's first quarter results. This includes an $11 billion charge for foreign exchange losses and the difference between the fair value and the carrying value of the share at the time, which is now worth $14 billion. According to Susanna Streeter, a senior financial analyst on Hargreaves Lansdown, BP will find it very difficult to recover anywhere near the full value of Rosneft. BP is Russia's largest foreign investor. Rosneft contributed to $2.7 billion to BP's $12.8 billion profits in 2021, accounting for nearly a fifth of the company's income. The decision was made after Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng had a 20-minute virtual chat with BP CEO Bernard Looney on Friday to review the company's situation. Looney and another Rosneft director, former CEO Bob Dudley, are also stepping down from the board, according to a statement. "The invasion of Ukraine by Russia forced us to radically reassess BP's position with Rosneft," according to the statement. "Russia's war on Ukraine is an act of aggression that is having catastrophic effects across the region," said Helgi Lund, chairman of BP. For more than 30 years, BP has operated in Russia, collaborating with great Russian colleagues. This military operation, on the other hand, constitutes a significant shift. It has prompted the BP board of directors to determine, following a comprehensive review, that our partnership with Rosneft, a state-owned company, simply cannot continue. We can no longer support BP members on the Rosneft board of directors. BP's business and strategy are no longer linked with the Rosneft ownership. I am certain that the decisions we have made as a board are not just the correct things to do, but also in BP's best interests in the long run. Like so many others, I have been genuinely startled and saddened by the situation unfolding in Ukraine, and my heart goes out to everyone impacted," Looney continued. Kwarteng praised BP's decision, saying, "Moscow's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine should serve as a wake-up call for British companies having financial interests in Putin's Russia." According to a fresh report from RBC, Intel and AMD have verbally notified Russian manufacturers that they are complying with a processor supply block imposed in reaction to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The restriction on technology and exports is expected to go into force on March 3rd, while RBC reports that Intel and AMD have already stopped supplying the country. The information is consistent with current US sanctions. The company is carefully watching the situation and guaranteeing compliance with applicable sanctions and export control rules, which include new sanctions imposed by the OFAC and rules issued by the BIS, an Intel spokesperson in Russia told RBC. However, assuming this information is correct, it is crucial to remember that Intel and AMD's prohibition on chip exports to Russia excludes consumer communications devices, such as personal computers, mobile phones, digital cameras, and other such devices. Instead, the ban on processor importation and sale only applies to industrial use by private companies, government entities, or those specifically sanctioned by the US government. The restriction might have long-term negative impact on Russia's economy, as businesses will be unable to improve, replace, or widen server usage for cloud computing and data storage. The usage of supercomputers for massive data processing is the same. Exceptions may be provided if businesses apply for and are granted export licenses, but this procedure could take months or longer. Russia, interestingly, has its own processor industry, which includes the MCST Elbrus 8C server CPU. Despite this, critics have slammed it as extremely poor in comparison to Intel's Xeon Cascade Lake processors. Furthermore, the Moscow Center of SPARC Technologies, like many other microprocessor businesses, does not manufacture chips but designs them. If the ban goes into place, it isn't clear what other options Russia has for procuring processors. The most obvious route appears to go through China, especially given the two countries have a close strategic cooperation. Nonetheless, RBC reports that even via back routes and re-export techniques, prices for such components might rise by 30% for Russian enterprises seeking such technologies. NVIDIA, one of the world's largest and most important producers of GPUs for services, AI, and industrial applications, has so far been silent on the US situation. Similar calls from Microsoft to prohibit software shipment to Russia have also been made, though the corporation has yet to respond. Expect more negative news from global corporations in the coming weeks, which will undoubtedly have significant impact on Russian economy and inhibit its way of life. But while this reaction and economic ramifications play out, the market remains perplexed, as evidenced by last week's violent swings, and Wall Street offers contrasting perspectives on what might happen next. On one hand, despite last week's late comeback, experts like BTIG's Jonathan Krinsky are skeptical that the lows have been reached. While it is possible we've seen the low for the market, it is more likely that we've only seen a low. The SPX didn't quite get down to 4,000, and we haven't seen a 90% downside volume day this year. When it comes to buying opportunities, we've found that groupings with relative strengths, metal and mining, agriculture, shippers, and select healthcare, are more profitable in the long run than trying to bottom fish in downtrends. Then, there are many who are more optimistic, such as Goldman Sachs strategist David Kostin. The S&P 500 dipped 13% below its top this week, before rebounding 4%. If the economy does not enter a recession, buying the market after a 10% loss provides a 15% average one-year return. Our S&P 500 year-end projection of 4,900 anticipates 8% EPS growth, $100 oil, increased rates, and no US recession. A market, as they say, is made up of several points of views. Choose your point of view intelligently at this point in the markets. And as always, good luck with your trading. And with that, today's video comes to a close. To express your love and support for this video, don't forget to hit the like button below if you haven't already. And also subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell right next to it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and we hope you enjoyed yourself. We look forward to seeing you again soon.